For us, Ukraine for Estonia is definitely one of the priorities. One of the closest allies who is not belonging to EU and NATO, and I like to add there yet. If EU, if we are not dealing with the conflicts, the conflicts come to deal us. We sat there, we eat this ice cold okroshka. It was beautiful view, and you know that a couple of tens of kilometers ahead it's the occupied territory. It's the contact line. Basically, the war is going on. The states don't have friends; that they only have interests. You in Ukraine, you should believe in yourself. A little bit more self-confidence. Dream big.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends of Ukrainian Prism, we are back with our format Persona Grata, when we invite distinguished diplomats, ambassadors and the friends of Ukraine to talk with us about the priorities of the relations between our countries. And today it is my pleasure and privilege and a special honor as the alumnus of the Estonian School of Diplomacy to invite for a talk the ambassador of Estonia to Ukraine, Kaimo Kuusk. Thank you for accepting our proposal of being our persona grata today. And let's talk a little bit about our relations with your country and about priorities of Estonia. So can you tell us what are the key priorities of the Estonian foreign policy? Do they change? Do they evolve? And is there any differences between the Estonia's priorities in the 90s and now?
Thank you, first of all, for invitation. Happy to open the season of your great program. Estonian foreign policy priorities, more or less, I think Estonian foreign policy is related with security issues. So this thing I can say hasn't changed so much from the 90s. Definitely the milestones or the goals towards what we are reaching, they have been changed. Now we are in EU, we are in NATO since 2004, so that we have reached. Currently, I think the priorities is definitely related to Euro-Atlantic relations, to make those tighter more and more. These important things for us are related also with security and democratic processes in our region. That means also Ukraine. And well, definitely COVID-related issues, which
very topical.
Even if it sounds medical, at the end of the day, it's at the moment a little bit foreign policy, I think.
I see. So, and if talking about your priorities within the EU, recently I've read a study and it says that sometimes the countries with small population and with a small territory still are very influential in the European Union, and Estonia is among these countries which have influence. But perhaps you have some of your priorities which you still want to propel within the EU and cannot do that. And if any, tell us about them.
Well, first of all, we are very happy to be in the EU. we like to be in the EU, and for us, I think the cooperation is the key word. We definitely can bring every issue we want from Estonian side to EU table. That was shown also, I think, during our presidency in EU. Now a little bit more than a year ago, actually, when we started to push really hard the Eastern Partnership issues, and I think it was very useful. Yeah, well, definitely there are some things which can be always better. For example, I think. EU didn't take Russia as a threat for quite some time. be it culture of corruption, be it influence of domestic politics of other states, and at the end of the day also be it military threat. So I think at the moment the EU has definitely corrected its attitude and its policy towards Russia and understood the seriousness of those issues. I would like to see from the EU side more proactivity.
What do you mean?
And I'm explaining. I think sometimes we could react quicker, but also take like preventive steps to prevent some kind of processes to evolve far enough. Let's say the conflicts. I would say myself that if EU, if we are not dealing with the conflicts, the conflicts come to deal us. And what's going on and for years already in Syria, I think it's the strange to say good, but at the same time a sad example of that. If we are not dealing with the conflict, the people who are escaping the war reaching us, and then we have to find them proper place, proper work to do, and etc. etc.
But if elaborate a little bit more on this issue, what is the key obstacle for the EU to react promptly?
Well, it's on one hand it's a good that there are many members, but at the same time because it gives you the weight.
Yeah.
Especially a compact country, as we like to say about Estonia. We like to be in a good company, but at the same time there's also different opinion, different backgrounds, histories, and that's the part of the democratic process to get to an agreement, a consensus. It takes time, and yeah, I can also be master of smartness afterwards, but to know exactly where the things are starting to go, well, not easy. So then on a table you have several options. Well, sometimes it has been chosen, maybe not the quickest one, but not hardest, more powerful one to stop some kind of snowball to roll ahead.
So the US, the alliance matters a lot, and it's clear for Estonia as well. But there are alliances within the alliance. So different groups of countries. For example, Nordic-Baltic cooperation, which is very well known around the world.
Good one, absolutely good one.
Also, we have some regional initiatives which are relatively new, like 3 Seas initiative and 17+1 initiative. And what's the role in Estonia in these initiatives, and what's the role of Estonia in Baltic cooperation? Do you expect any leadership? Do you need to be a leader?
Well, we might be rather good in some areas, for example, e-government, but I myself like to think that I would rather belong to a very, very good company or group and be one member of those instead of being the best one and in a not maybe so good environment. In 3 Seas initiative, we have pushed quite a lot to bring for that very clear economic dimension. So investments, and those investments which have been agreed together should be valid and sensible as well. So very much investment-related project. That's our view on Three Seas. 17+1, different states together with China. Well, we have believed in Estonia for a liberal economic relations and the world, and we have seeked for that as well. We have joined this format when we hope that it will be additional tool to promote our relations with China,
yep.
Along with the EU. Actually, we are very much in favor of the EU foreign policy as a joint one, but we saw it as a possible tool. Now, have we gained from that format? Now, already 10 years ago, actually, we joined. Have we gained from this format what we have looked after the same fair trade, rules-based trade, economic relations? Not yet. And what I can say is that at the moment we are preparing in ministry a new Asia strategy.
So same in our ministry, as you probably know.
Well, it's good, like-minded countries actually. And during that strategy, we also analyzing whether we want to stay in that group. So we'll see.
So when should we expect the final decision?
I think it should come
prior to summit.
Yeah, well, no, not so quickly. I think not so quickly. That's the complicated issue, and some time it will take because we have a new government as well and the new minister. Yeah. So
basically, that's my next question.
Oh well, it's good.
I'm following the tweets of your previous president, Ilves. And when the new government in Estonia was established, he sort of compared it to the change of government in the United States and like being back to normal. And so the United States are back to normal. And do you consider that with the new government you are back to normal? Because with the previous one there were certain international incidents when even the president of Estonia had to ask for excuse her colleagues in neighboring Nordic countries. So should we expect back to normal with the new government of Kaja Kallas?
I already mentioned that I believe in cooperation. I think Estonia as a whole as well, and Estonia never has enough allies. So there are people who are saying that states don't have friends, that they only have interests. I don't think so. I think state has friends as well, because states consist of people, and states have been led by people. So, sure. We can say that friendship between the states is a sum of all the friends of one country to another, actually. So that means the Estonia compact country should do everything to find allies, friends, to build these friendship between the countries, not to ruin good relations by saying something well, not very clever, I should say. So new government, very like-minded parties, liberal attitude, belonging to ALDE group in European Parliament, both the Keskerakond and Reformist Party. They have a solid mandate. We have 101 parliamentarians in Estonian Riigikogu, and 59 out of that is at the moment behind the coalition. Plus, actually, one opposition party, Social Democrats, also voted for the new government. So they got altogether 70 votes. So I think it's a rather good basis for a start.
So according to your estimation, it's sort of stable government, and it should stay till the end of this parliament. Right?
Well, as mathematics show, it is very stable. But as one of my good friends, political science professional, have really well said that it has been a norm in Estonia that after 2 years the government change will happen. Well, it's more or less 2 years until the next elections anyway. Actually,
yeah,
so we'll see.
I see. What would be the priorities of the new government? Any changes in comparison to the previous one? Any new angles? Any new ideas? Or should it be rather sustainable policy without surprises?
Well, first of all, COVID, to take care of that. At the moment, vaccination. Which is somehow going even more crazy than the masks and things on the spring, actually. So the COVID-related issues, definitely the first priority. And second is economic recovery. And if we are talking about foreign relations, definitely solidifying, building up the relations with the US, within the EU, with the close neighbors as well. So I think the first visit was done to Finland, our good partner, good neighbor. So now it's the tour of, so to say, phone calls is going on. So from our embassy side, I will do everything to put our new minister and foreign minister of Ukraine, Kuleba, in close contact via the phone at the beginning.
Yeah, so now let's move to the bilateral relations now. You probably know that every year we are releasing scorecards of Ukrainian foreign policy, and the grade for our relations with the Baltic countries was A- last year, and we try to put together the assessment of political interests, strategic vision, activities, results. If you were in charge of putting the grades to Estonian policy towards Ukraine, what would be your grade?
For us, Ukraine for Estonia is definitely one of the priorities. One of the closest allies who is not belonging to EU and NATO, and I like to add there, yet. So for Estonia, the success of Ukraine is very important. Be it security issues, it's the natural ally for us in our circumstances and environment, and with one very big particular neighbor. Economic success, huge market, huge, very clever people actually. So it's so we should do some more things definitely, but yeah, well, due to COVID, not very good and high-level visits. Now even more than a year when our ministers were actually here in Ukraine. It was November 2019, and then your head of the parliament was in Tallinn in February 2020, and then the COVID started actually. But before that, during the half a year, our presidents met 3 times.
Yep.
So I see that whenever the traveling will be close to normal again, we will have visits, and then the embassy staff will go crazy a little bit about running around and organizing everything. But that's fine. That's fine. That's the work we are.
Well, let's hope for such opportunity. And when the presidents met, I mean the president of Estonia and president of Ukraine, they also discussed 3 Seas initiative, and the President Zelensky, I guess it was in Tallinn when he expressed his desire to join the initiative. So far it is known that the initiative is sort of EU members club. But I guess Estonia expressed its support to Ukrainian desire. What can be done to promote? Do we have any other allies in the group?
We were the ones then organizing or supposed to organize the high-level meeting in October in Estonia, but due to COVID, everything was cancelled and postponed. So now it's up to Bulgaria, but Estonia definitely supports Ukraine. As I said, one of the key countries' priorities for us. What Ukraine can do, push forward with your reforms, push forward with judiciary reforms. The rule of law thing is important for the entrepreneurs, and that's the best promotion for you to become a member of different clubs, including the Free Seas. So
it's the matter of homework?
It's a little bit of the matter of the homework, yeah, exactly. So it's well said.
When talking about the cooperation, what would you name the main obstacles to our cooperation, except for COVID, because COVID is clear?
Maybe size of the countries a little bit. You know, as several times I've said, Estonia is a compact country. I'm avoiding the word small. But sometimes, we can compare Estonia with one of the Ukraine oblasts by the population or the territory. So we can definitely not give expert to every local municipality in Ukraine to do the cooperation. That can be the one obstacle comes into my mind. Otherwise, we can manage everything, I think.
And what are the areas of cooperation which you believe are most promising?
I already stressed the security field. Okay. So the security and defense field definitely very important for us and for Ukraine as well.
True.
Then it's the education. Estonia is one of the best school results system country in the world, actually. So we Ukrainians have turned to us, and we are ready to help to modernize, to reform education system here as well. And as I said, you have country full of smart people, really good universities, technical IT skills, humanitarian as well. So it's not only that Ukraine turns to us, we are interested in actually to cooperate with you. And definitely e-government, e-government sector, because I know directly from your Deputy Prime Minister Fyodorov that we have inspired you, but now what you are doing on State in a Smartphone thing
really
inspires us.
Really?
Because when we started our e-government, well, the PC was the one, actually, the personal computer, the heavy metal, let's call it like that. Now, we didn't have those days smartphones. Now you are building and using the smartphone as a platform.
Yeah.
It's totally different. You cannot put in there the pages of some documents or something like that. It should be smarter, quicker. So our IT guys now are inspired, and we are happy to cooperate with you on that matter.
So that's great news. Interesting to know. Let's switch from the ambassadorial mode to ordinary personal mode, and let's talk a bit about your arrival to Ukraine. And what was your first impression when you come to the country?
I already mentioned, I think, the size.
Okay.
Coming from Estonia, I have joked that in Tallinn, if you start the engine of the car and you are starting right towards south in 3 hours, basically you are in Latvia. Well, in a Kiev city center, if it's a traffic jam, you're hardly in Zhytomyr, I think, in 3 hours. So what another impressions? I think I've been in Kiev now. Well, first visit was 2015. I see good improvement. I like the city. It's the green city. It was nice, and I thought that hey, it could be much cooler in the meaning of well, neat. And now I see the street by street has been renovated. The Pushkinska Street, where our embassy is situated, one of the most beautiful modern pedestrian areas in Europe, I should say, actually. So there's a nice walking areas close to Mihailovska Square, for example. So it's the city is improving. That's good. If I'm talking about visual things, but another thing I'm feeling is place by place, the people kind of feel that they can do something, that they can change something, that their activity has an impact. So I've been in Zhytomyr, in Zakarpattia, in Luhansk Oblast, in Severodonetsk. I see that.
So you've been around the whole country.
I tried, but far away from visiting half of the oblasts yet. So, but I like to see the attitude, the ownership attitude, which is coming more and more. That the people are feeling that hey, we are owning the country in a most positive way, actually. So that's the difference.
And if you were to grade the cities that you visited in Ukraine, what is your favorite one? Except for Kiev.
Yeah, well, sadly, I like Kiev really. It's as I said, it has a size, it's green, it's vivid and lively actually. COVID changed, of course. I'm from the second largest city of Estonia, Tartu. Lived there for a long time now. Was in Tallinn, of course, but when the lockdown came in April, the parks were closed here, and I went out with my kids, and hey, it reminded me Sunday morning in Tartu. Actually, it was empty. But yeah, coming back, I definitely like Lviv. Which reminds me a little bit of mixture of Vienna and Riga. I like Odesa because of the warm Black Sea. I like warm weather, warm water actually. So it's in summer.
That's something you miss in Estonia.
Well, in Estonia, we are proud to say that if it's 18 degrees, the water is already warm. But well, it's not for me. I think one of the most beautiful pictures in my mind is from this July. We visited with some another ambassadors east, and we stopped in Sviatohirsk. It was really hot day. It was plus 35. We sat there in a restaurant. I ordered okroshka. I started to eat okroshka here, and the okroshka was brought to me in ice bowl. I have never seen it. So that's the service. That's I call service, and you get it. You get it in Ukraine, in a remote area actually almost. We sat there. We eat this ice cold okroshka. It was beautiful view. It's a little bit hilly. And there's this magnificent monastery, and you know that a couple of tens of kilometers ahead is the occupied territory. It's the contact line. Basically, the war is going on there, and you're sitting in such a beautiful place. So the biggest impression I think I've had during those trips in Ukraine.
But if your friends from Estonia come to Ukraine, would you recommend them to go there, or would you recommend something else? And what would be the first thing that you would recommend to your friend who comes from Estonia?
I definitely recommend them to stay a little bit longer. To look to Kiev, definitely. Actually, that's you have to. But the already mentioned Lviv would be interesting, and definitely Zakarpattia, Uzhhorod. in September I was there. The vineyards, the atmosphere, the Užhorod reminded a little bit. For me, again, I'm talking about Tartu actually, because it's the university town. River is there actually, so it's nice to walk outside. So there's so many beautiful places in Ukraine, and I think you are rich because of that. You have the differences which altogether giving you a synergy of something more than just 1 + 1 and +1 actually. So I need to know my friends, and I need to know a little bit of what his or her interests, and then I can definitely recommend you can find something for everyone.
I will put you this question anyway. It's a tricky one, but Lviv or Odesa? Because I was asked when in Estonia, Tartu or Tallinn. Now it's sort of rematch. Lviv or Odesa?
I will take Lviv, and it's just my personality.
Sure.
I like cities. I like this atmosphere, you know, the coffee places, you smell this fresh coffee, you have these theaters or cinemas and nice different looking streets and architecture. I'm struggling a little bit of sitting on a beach on a sand. But I have to do it with my family definitely. Yeah, usually when I'm taking a book with me, taking a good music with headphones, and then I can sit in a beach. Otherwise, so it's Lviv. It's Lviv.
Great. I guess people from Western Ukraine would appreciate that, but perhaps our colleagues from Odessa will not like your answer.
Oh, sorry. So I like the warm water. I can go there, but
thanks for being frank anyway. Yeah. We are almost done with our talk today, and the final question is there anything that you expected me to ask you, but I did not?
There is one question, but I will not put you. I will not give you this question only off the records, maybe. Then.
What would you like to add? What would you like to emphasize at the very end of our talk?
I would like to stress that you in Ukraine, you should believe in yourself. A little bit more self-confidence, dream big, but at the same time, that's strange. Yeah, dream big, but at the same time, try to be concrete and try to ask us and the Western partners precise things which will help you, Ukraine, make a leap forward. I'm explaining. Sometimes it's when the training is offered or some education is offered. The one who has been offered asks, okay, but what do you have? What do you have in your shelf? What do you offer? And the one who is offering you asking like, yeah, but what do you want actually? So my personal experience is I think maybe helpful is that if you think where you want to be, what is your very concrete goal, and what are the steps to reach there, and then if you think of okay, I'm good in that first phase or first step, but I'm lacking my expertise on that second and third one. Then ask help on that second and third one. Don't accept if the Western institutions coming to you and saying like, hey, on a shelf we have this good training. Well, if it's not used to, don't take it. Ask very specifically the one what you are really lacking, whereas your capabilities are needed to improve.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for this advice, and thanks for being our persona grata today.
Pleasure is mine. Happy to cooperate with you.
Thank you.